Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a very cosy Deepdale press box. As you can see, we're not quite on each other's lap, but we're not far off the way this press box is. It's not great if you're particularly tall, but we are here, of course, for tonight's game, Norwich City against Preston. Tuesday night championship game under lights, and we have the Norwich City team news. And the big news is that it's a start for Emi Marcondes in Norwich City's midfield three. So Norwich City line up like this: Long in goal, Fisher, Duffy, Quarterback, and Doyle as the back four, McLean, Slimani and Marcondes as the midfield three, with Sienats and Saints on either flank, with Josh Sargent up front. The subs bench: Archie Mayer, Jack Stacey, Grant Hanley, Ben Krasene, return to the matchday squad for Jakob Sørensen, Amankwa Forson, Oscar Schwartau, Gabe Forsyth and Cade Gordon make up Norwich City's bench. So, Paddy, there's been much discussion in the build-up to this game about who would replace Marcelino Nunez in the midfield three. Would it be Oscar Schwartau? Would it be Amankwa Forson? It's actually Emiliano Marcondes.
Yeah, we definitely wasn't thinking he'd go Marcondes for the simple reason, really. Fitness, yeah. I mean, it was only the last game before Hull, when he made his debut. And Johannes said, look, got to be patient with this guy. It'll probably be a month of cameos before he's ready to start. Well, needs must, I guess. And, they must obviously feel fitness-wise that it isn't going to be an issue. I guess you do it that way around, then, you get to an hour or whatever, you can withdraw him and bring on those players you mentioned. So maybe better to do it that way around. It's just beyond that, how that mix looks in midfield. Johannes said yesterday when I put it to him, they don't have a like-for-like in terms of Nunez. I think that's safe to say. So whoever they did go with, and we now know that is Marcondes, they would almost have to fit around or slightly recalibrate the midfield. So I mean, I thought you made a very good point on the drive up. Could it be rather than the three? Could it be a two with McLean and Slimani, and then ahead of them you've got the more attacking, adventurous Marcondes, almost as in the middle of a three with Cernach and Borja Sainz behind Josh Sargent. So wouldn't be surprised to see that sort of fluidity. But I am surprised that it's Marcondes. But they clearly know better than we do. They're inside the camp. They see him day in, day out. I guess he has had, in the intervening period since, he's had 2 full weeks at Colney to work on his fitness. So, maybe that's accelerated, his elevation into the first team. But it's a big call on one respect. Jeff Mann's saying he can't hear us.
He's only because he's on a bus. So.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I thought it was
top man, Jeff Mann. Thanks for joining us, even though you can't hear us.
Why can't he hear us on the bus?
Well, I
put the sound on.
Yeah, I'm sure the rest of the bus would appreciate that. Our team news scroll out, and I might say this to Adam, has got Angus Gunn in goal, just rolling at the bottom. So we might want to change that because
it's not just me. It's not just me. You see, even the maestro gets it wrong.
Yeah,
not that I've dwelt on the issues around. No, not at all. But I didn't really put into the mix that I've got a teething 5-month-old and I'm not getting a lot of sleep at the minute.
Okay.
So,
3 days to think of that excuse.
Yeah, I know, it's a good one, though, because it's factually correct. But anyway, we'll move on.
Yes, it's definitely George Long in goal. There you go. So replaced now on the graphic below. That's the correct team. And it is an interesting one, isn't it, Marcondes? Because I think he got, 10 minutes against Hull, give or take. It was about half an hour, I think, give or take, on Saturday. It's going to be really interesting to see how much he's got in the tank here tonight because, as you said, even though he's been training throughout the summer, and I think he's done some training sessions with Nordsjælland as well to keep up that fitness, it's very hard to almost come in cold, particularly into the Championship. So feels tonight that's going to be really interesting to see how he goes on. But more tactically as well, the fact that he Torup has overlooked Oscar Schwartau, he's overlooked Amankwa Forson, and he's gone straight to Emi Marcondes. I guess it probably says or speaks to how highly he rates him as a footballer.
True, yeah, clearly. But I'm thinking about. I'm just really intrigued. How he goes with the midfield. Is it going to be the flat three, or is it going to be more of a hybrid approach? And if so, what does that do to Norwich's sort of build-up play? What does it mean for Slimani as well in terms of this equation tonight? Is Slimani going to play slightly deeper, almost in a Nunez area of the pitch, because he's certainly got the passing range and the technical quality to do that? So yeah, that's a real interesting one. You would think it probably is going to lend itself more to Marcondes is more aggressive and Slimani is more reserved in that sense. And you said Preston are kind of 4-2-3-1 under Heckingbottom, so maybe he's looking at that and going and wants to match them up in terms of shape. and then it comes down to who has the better technical players, maybe in the middle of the park, to get a hold of it. It would feel like that should be Norwich, because by all accounts, Preston a bit like Stoke, a bit more. I like Johannes' phrase. He calls it verticality. I don't know if it's a Danish term for long ball, but and playing second balls, but
probably more diplomatic way of saying that.
Yeah, I like it though. Yeah, verticality. So if that is the case, then you would like to think Slimani, McLean, and Malcondes can have a lot on the ball and can dictate and can maybe give them the control they had in the first half with Nunes at Stoke.
Are you a little bit surprised there isn't more changes, given the intensity Norwich play at, given the fact it's a 3-game week, given the fact, I think you kind of alluded to that yesterday about the fact to need changes, but I guess he's probably viewing those as coming from the bench maybe a little bit earlier than what they have been doing in recent weeks?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I mean, he did also go on to say that he felt given a slightly longer run into this game than there was on Saturday, bearing in mind a lot of the internationals only literally came back end of last week. Yesterday, he felt that there was more freshness and more energy around the group, albeit also said that, look, they hadn't really done a huge amount Sunday, Monday. But, I mean, they came up yesterday, didn't they? So you'd imagine they'll have done a little bit of a session today as well. And maybe that's just confirmed to him that, that these lads could go again. He talked about Duffy, he talked about McLean, and almost that battle-hardened 90 minutes, go again, 90 minutes, go again, 90 minutes. And that selection tells you that he feels that group of players are able to go. And I guess what goes in their favour this week is the Middlesbrough game is the Sunday. It's not the Saturday. It's an extra day, isn't it, effectively? So go hard tonight, and then, if you need to make changes, you've got the extra day as well. So, yeah, I'm sure that's in his thought process.
Owen, yes, you did hear Jakob Sørensen on the bench. He is on the bench, and we're expecting him to get minutes tonight. Obviously been sidelined since the opening day, I think, Oxford, with a foot injury. So it'd be good to see him back here tonight. And of course, he adds to a midfield option. I think maybe what we've probably felt is that there's been maybe a lack of depth behind Kenny McLean in that deeper role. So maybe that's one that you could look at with obviously the view to Saturday, maybe giving him some minutes as well. Let's bring you the Preston team, mate. I think we're in a position to do that. And they're going very well at the moment under Paul Heckingbottom. This is how they line up. Woodman in goal, Kessler, Hayden, Story, Lindsay and Hughes as the back four. Whiteman back from suspension and straight back in alongside McCann. Greenwood on the right, Holmes on the left. And, Holmes in the middle, Brady on the left, former Norwich City man, Robbie Brady, with Emil Rees up front. So that is how they line up, and I'll try and get you their substitutes in the meantime, but here we go. I can bring that to you now. Their subs bench: Cornell, Watmore, Best, Ledson, Fordarson, Bowler, Frosier, Ockels and Stewart. So that is how Preston are going to approach this game, and it's an interesting one, isn't it, Paddy? Because you look at where Preston are in the table, and there's maybe a feeling that they're struggling a little bit. They maybe haven't had the results, but they've already had a managerial change here. That came very early on in the season, which was Ryan Lowe standing down effectively and being replaced by Paul Heckingbottom, former Norwich loanee, someone who knows the Championship well. Barnsley, Leeds, obviously now Preston as well. One promotion at this level, and have really stabilised. They've taken the most points out of anyone from the last 3 games, 7, not conceded a goal during that period. And they've got a really, really strong form here. They beat your boys, Coventry, on Saturday. This is going to be a really tough encounter, isn't it, for Norwich, given all of those elements and given probably the way that Preston are feeling at the moment, which probably isn't what the league table suggests.
No, and just to add to that, you've narrowed in on the last 3, but not lost here since the opening day, which was pre-Heckingbottom. That was Ryan Lowe, so very strong at home. And also they've got a League Cup tie against Arsenal here to look forward to in a few weeks. Knocked out Fulham in the previous round. So everything points to this is, as I put it to Johannes yesterday, a midweek away fixture, probably as tough as you could have in this current stage of the season, I think, because Preston are in a good vein of form, and under a new head coach, they've clearly responded to him, those players. By all accounts, Robbie Brady has been quite key as well. So,
fit, which is the main thing.
That's the main thing with him. We know about his ability. So, yeah, there's absolutely no doubt. I think Norwich will have to dig pretty deep tonight to get a result. because I think there's no doubt Preston, off the back of Coventry and the weekend as well, they will probably look at Norwich and from afar, maybe while respecting the sort of the results and some of the performances.
It's got bad if we're there, I'll tell you that for free.
Things would be very bad. Yeah, there'd only be one outcome tonight if we was in the dugout, that's for sure. It wouldn't be a Norwich win. But, well, maybe respecting Norwich, I'm sure, but they will also look at Norwich as a team that they probably can get the better of because they're in a good vein of form. And as you say, Connor, I mean, at this early stage of the championship season,
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
You know, pushing a result tonight at 3 points tonight pushes them right up in and around that top 6, doesn't it? So, yeah, it feels like quite a tough assignment for me tonight.
Anti-Cianas, let's touch on him then, because obviously it was a big moment for him on Saturday, getting that first Norwich City goal. And I think everyone probably hopes that's the weight lifted off his shoulders now. It can build and build, particularly as an attacking player. He had quite a slow start in Poland. I think it took him 6 games to score his first goal for Rakow last season. The hope is now what that goal can do for him and what it can unlock, and hopefully a little bit more confidence in those forward areas to start contributing alongside the likes of Paul Science and Josh Sargent.
And they need him too, because it's unrealistic to expect Science and Sargent, less so Sargent, because that's his role, that's what he's in the side to do, but to continue in those multiples, really. So it's going to need others to chip in, whether that's the midfielders we've discussed already earlier tonight, or, the player who's effectively the third prong in that attacking unit. And that was a good finish. I know it was fortuitous how the ball broke to him.
What he needed, though,
but it was a very good finish. You know, it wasn't an easy ball to slap as he did. And I just like the reaction afterwards, you know, his smile, the reaction of his teammates, you know, they were genuinely delighted for him. And you can imagine that, you know, it would have weighed a little bit on him. You know, I thought Giannis was pretty revealing how he'd said Glenn had Riddlesham had spoke to him during the week and almost, look, we need a little bit more from you now. You know, you've had a bit of time to adapt. There are differences between Polish and the English Championship, and one of those is probably the intensity and the speed of thought, speed of action. And I think we'd seen elements of promise, but also too much of that as well. Not just quite sharp enough, not quite, you know, on the same wavelength that's required. Hopefully that does unlock something in him, and you know, wouldn't it be great if that's the start of something, you know, in terms of a nice run of goals and assists and contributions? Because I think if you could get that from a young player who's coming into England for the first time and all the elements off the pitch, you know, moving to a new country, new culture, if he, I'm sure, feels it's going well on the pitch, that'll bleed through, you know, the rest of his sort of first season at Norwich. What you'd hope is it isn't one of the more, it's almost just a building season. And what you'd like to think is that he can come in and now maybe, as he did in Rakow, once he's got that first one under his belt, really hit the ground running and really contribute to trying to push Norwich in and around that top 6.
And just finally on the players, and then we'll come to George's question in a moment on YouTube. Jakob Sørensen back. It's always nice for him to get back. Now we need to see a consistent run of football from him, don't we? And he probably needs a little bit of luck as well.
Well, he certainly does on the injury side, yeah. I mean, without going and checking again, but it just feels now these last few seasons, the story with him has been injury and absence. Whether it was in pre-season as it was last season, or actually in the season as it has been this season. So personally, I thought it was a little bit fortunate maybe to get, because he was one that they took an option up in the summer. Maybe that was to do with a certain Danish head coach who was incoming and maybe wanted to have one of his compatriots in and around the group. But I thought I wouldn't have been surprised if they basically said, you know, thanks for everything, Jakob, on you go. But no, he got a new deal, but it's another year with an option, isn't it? So he's in that cycle again. He's got to prove himself now. And to do that, he needs to stay injury-free and get an opportunity, which won't be easy. Obviously, you know, at the moment, Nunes opens up a slot, but it feels like it's Nunes, it feels like it's Slimani, and it feels like it's McLean. So he's going to probably have to bide his time a little bit. But when he does get an opportunity, who knows? I think the jury's out for me, though, in terms of his effectiveness in this side and whether he would have a leading role or whether he's going to be, let's be honest, as he has been throughout his Norwich career, more of a
Ollie Pillar.
Well, yeah, that's a bit harsh, but yeah, but a versatile option from the bench is how I would diplomatically put it. But do I see him breaking through at this stage of his Norwich career into a frontline option? Not for me, but yeah, that's not to doubt his ability, but it's not the footballing side with him, it's the fitness, isn't it? And that's always the question mark.
Yep, right. George has asked on YouTube, would you take a draw tonight, lads? So
Yes,
I
would take a draw all day long, yeah. Beat Middlesbrough. 5 points from a very tough run of games. Off the back of what they did pre-international break. Yeah, I'll take that, you.
Yeah. I think on the basis that you could almost guarantee 3 points against Middlesbrough now. I think if you could win here tonight, it would be a huge result. And to basically get those 4 points, I probably feel after the weekend, I think you probably need to win this more now than you did before Saturday. Is my feeling. But look, it's such a long season, and again, it's all about, I think, for me, how the game goes and how it varies and how it flows. But yeah, if Norwich City can basically come away from here tonight with anything, I think we'd probably take that in the long run. So, Paddy, I guess that leaves us to say,
well, Jack's just asking. I mean, we don't want to give anything away, but I don't think you'll have long to wait now, Jack, or Norwich fans. So I don't think I'll be asking
Johannes.
I don't think I'll be asking Johannes too many more times. Yeah. So watch this space.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's going to be a busy day in general. How do you see it going then tonight?
Love this tune, Cortinas. Yeah, that's a good omen. That
in that part of the world.
Not 19 forever. Yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to be a bit of a negative and say Preston win 2-1. But obviously, I don't hope that to be the outcome. But I just think this is a team on the up at the moment. And but on the flip side of that, Norwich have got a tremendous record here, haven't they? I think it's one defeat in the last 7.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see them get something. But yeah, I could just see it being a really tough examination, and maybe they'll just come up a little bit short. So Preston win.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to go for a Norwich win. I think they'll edge it. I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be tough. I can see them going behind, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 win here tonight. So we'll see how things go. But again, like so many of these championship games, it's one where probably any result here wouldn't surprise you, and that is the beauty and difficulty of this league, I guess. And it's going to be interesting to see how Norwich City stand up to that. With obviously just one change from Saturday in a 3-game week. They're going to have to use that bench wisely, I think, and at the right time. So let's see how we go. And I wanted to say finally a big hat tip to, as we look over to our left, those folk in yellow and green who are filling that away end. It's absolutely brilliant effort. I mean, we've done the journey ourselves.
I just saw it was about 5 hours, wasn't it? Yeah. And that was without any real delays or anything. So the difference being we're staying up here tonight. I'd imagine a lot of those diehards will be heading back to, in most cases, Norfolk. So
let's be honest, on TV as well, isn't it? So you could have stayed at home. You could have watched it in the comfort of your living room. You could have saved yourself a hell of a lot of hassle. So the fact that all of those guys are here and like some of them might be local is absolutely brilliant. So yeah, big imaginary hat tip to those, and hopefully they are rewarded with a victory tonight. We'll leave it there. Pinker.com, of course, the place to go. I'll be on the live blog. You can come and join me. We'll have full analysis, full reaction to this game. You'll be speaking to Yanis off top, not asking him about Jack Wilshere.
Well, I might ask him, but he'll dead bat it. But as I say, by this time tomorrow, I think we'll have a definitive answer. Let's put it that way.
Yes, good stuff. Okie-dokie. And of course, we've got an EGM tomorrow as well, with all of the beginning of potentially a transition of power if all goes through. And then I said I'd mention this for them. The Norwich City Fan Social Club have got an event with Yanis off Torp and Glen Ridder's home at Carrow Road. So I think Darren Eady's hosting that. So get along to that, and I'm sure there'll be lots of insight, and you can save Paddy a job and put the questions to the man himself on all matters if you want.
Do a better job.
And I think me and Sam are going, so we'll hopefully see lots of you guys there tomorrow night. Right, that's it from Deepdale. Let's cross our fingers and hope for another good night here, and we'll see what we get. Thank you for watching. See you soon.